In the annals of history, few events resonate with the themes of bravery, sacrifice, and the struggle against overwhelming odds as much as the Battle of Thermopylae. Picture this. It's the year 480 BC, and the world is on the brink of a seismic clash between two great civilizations. On one side, you have the vast and powerful Persian Empire, led by King Xerxes, a ruler who commands not just an army, but a force of nature. On the other side, a small but fiercely determined contingent of Greek warriors, specifically the legendary 300 Spartans, led by King Leonidas. This is not just a battle, it's a story that transcends time, a tale of courage that still inspires us today. Now, let's set the stage. The Persian Empire, at its height, was one of the largest empires in history, stretching from the Indus Valley in the east to the shores of the Aegean Sea in the west. Xerxes had a vision of conquest, a dream to expand his empire and bring all of Greece under Persian control. But the Greeks, with their city-states and fiercely independent spirit, were not about to go quietly into the night. They knew that if they didn't stand together, they would be crushed under the weight of the Persian war machine. Enter the Spartans, a society built on the ideals of discipline, strength, and honor. From a young age, Spartan boys were trained to be warriors, molded into fierce fighters who valued courage above all else. They were not just soldiers, they were a brotherhood, bound by loyalty and a shared commitment to defend their homeland. When Leonidas, the king of Sparta, was faced with the prospect of an invasion, he knew that the fate of Greece rested on their shoulders. He made the bold decision to lead a small force to the narrow pass at Thermopylae, a strategic choke point that could be used to hold off the much larger Persian army. Now, let's talk numbers. The Persian forces were estimated to be anywhere from 100,000 to potentially over 1 million men, depending on the source. In stark contrast, Leonidas brought only 300 of his most elite warriors. It's a classic David versus Goliath scenario, isn't it? But what the Spartans lacked in numbers, they more than made up for in skill, strategy, and an unyielding determination to fight for their freedom. They understood that this was not just a battle for survival, it was a battle for the very essence of what it meant to be Greek. As the Persian army advanced, they were met with the fierce resistance of the Spartans. The narrow pass at Thermopylae worked to their advantage, nullifying the numerical superiority of the Persians. The Spartans fought with a ferocity that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. They held their ground day after day, repelling wave after wave of Persian attacks. It was a brutal and bloody affair, but the Spartans stood firm, embodying the warrior ethos that had been ingrained in them since childhood. But it wasn't just about physical strength, it was also about strategy. Leonidas was a brilliant tactician. He understood the terrain, the psychology of his enemies, and the importance of morale. By choosing to fight at Thermopylae, he not only slowed down the Persian advance, but also sent a message to the rest of Greece. That resistance was possible, that one could stand against tyranny, no matter how insurmountable the odds seemed. It was a rallying cry that would echo through the ages. As the battle raged on, the Spartans were joined by a handful of other Greek city-states, including the Thespians and Thebans, who recognized the significance of what was happening. They fought alongside the Spartans, united in their cause, and together they formed a bulwark against the encroaching Persian tide. But the reality of their situation was grim. They were outnumbered, and the longer the battle dragged on, the more precarious their position became. On the third day of fighting, a traitor named Ephialtes betrayed the Spartans by revealing a secret mountain path to the Persians. This path would allow Xerxes to outflank Leonidas and his men. When Leonidas learned of this betrayal, he faced a critical decision. He could retreat with the rest of his forces, saving his men and preserving their strength for another day, or he could stand and fight, knowing that they were likely to be overwhelmed. In a moment that would define his legacy, Leonidas chose the latter. He sent most of his troops away, choosing to remain behind with his 300 Spartans and a few hundred others to face This decision was not born out of foolishness, but rather a profound sense of duty and honor. Leonidas understood that their sacrifice would not be in vain. By standing their ground, they would inspire the rest of Greece to unite against the Persian threat. And that's exactly what happened. The news of their bravery spread like wildfire, igniting a sense of nationalism and resistance among the Greek city-states. The sacrifice of the 300 Spartans became a symbol of courage and defiance, a story that would be told for generations. As the Persian forces closed in, the Spartans fought with every ounce of strength they had left. They were outmatched, but they were not outclassed. Their training, discipline, and sheer willpower allowed them to hold their ground for as long as they could. They fought valiantly, taking down countless Persian soldiers, but the tide was relentless. One by one, they fell, each warrior fighting not just for his life, but for the ideals of freedom and bravery that they held dear. In the end, the 300 Spartans, along with their allies, were overwhelmed. But their legacy was far from extinguished. The Battle of Thermopylae became a turning point in the Greco-Persian Wars. The sacrifice of Leonidas and his men inspired the Greek city-states to unite against the Persian Empire, leading to a series of victories that would ultimately culminate in the Battle of Salamis, where the Persian navy was decisively defeated. This chain of events eventually led to the end of the Persian invasion and the preservation of Greek independence. So, what can we learn from the sacrifice of the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae? It's a story that speaks to the human spirit, to the idea that even in the face of insurmountable odds, we can choose to stand firm and fight for what we believe in. It's about camaraderie, loyalty, and the willingness to lay down one's life for a greater cause. In our own lives, we may not face battles in the traditional sense, but we encounter our own challenges that require courage and resilience. Whether it's standing up for our beliefs, fighting against injustice, or simply facing our fears, the spirit of Thermopylae can inspire us to confront adversity head-on. Moreover, the story of Thermopylae reminds us of the importance of unity. The Spartans didn't fight alone. They were joined by other Greek warriors who recognized that their strength lay in their solidarity. In today's world, where divisions often seem to be the norm, we can draw lessons from their example. When we stand together, we can achieve incredible things, even in the face of overwhelming obstacles. And let's not forget the power of legacy. The sacrifice of the 300 Spartans has endured for over 2 millennia, becoming a symbol of heroism and valor. Their story has been retold in countless forms, from ancient texts to modern films, inspiring people across generations. It's a reminder that our actions, no matter how small, can resonate far beyond our own time. We all have the potential to leave a mark on the world, to inspire others through our choices and our courage. As we reflect on the Battle of Thermopylae, let's honor the memory of those brave warriors who stood against tyranny and fought for their beliefs. Their sacrifice is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a reminder that we can rise above our circumstances and fight for what is right. So the next time you face a challenge, remember the 300 Spartans. Remember their courage, their determination, and their unwavering commitment to honor and freedom. Let their legacy inspire you to stand tall, to fight for your beliefs, and to never back down in the face of adversity.